guys, my name's Tori. For those of you who don't know me, this is my Wizard of Oz collection vlog. Happy Tuesday. I am currently finishing up the editing for the Ozstravaganza video, so I figured while I'm doing that, I'll shoot you guys a one-shot video of my review of Tom and Jerry Back to Oz. You guys know how excited I was about this after seeing the trailer. And I gotta say, it really took my expectations and took it to the next level, and I'll tell you why. Just to be 100% honest, I have a slight bias because I am a really big fan of animation as a medium, and especially when it comes to Oz, I'm crazy for it. So I do prefer animated versions, but also because it just allows for so much imagination, and Oz requires that. Right off the bat. I just wanted to start by outlining the basic plot, and I may drop a couple of spoilers, so if you do not want to have any of the plot spoiled, quickly turn it off. I'm not really going to reveal much, but spoiler alert. So the basic plot, and there was some debate about what the plot was going to be once we heard that the Gnome King was the villain, starts with a brief, and by the way, I have 2 pages of notes, because that's just how I roll, because I'm a dork. So it starts with a recap of the last film, which of course if you watch this vlog, you don't need a recap of the last film, because it was essentially the same as the 1939 film, with just a couple of things added here and there. And the last film really followed Tom and Jerry and their perspective of the 1939 film. But this film really sticks with Dorothy, and I think that was a good choice. Finished the opening, and Dorothy overhears Uncle Henry and Auntie Em saying, oh, you know, she's got such an imagination, that child, and she feels kind of, you know, insulted. Dorothy has something to prove in this film. She has a huge amount of character development and growth, but we'll get to that. Back to plot. So they're cleaning up after the tornado. Hunk, Hickory, and Zeke have a few really great moments, and then a neighboring farmer shows up, and wow, doesn't he look just so much like the Gnome King? And he says, hey, your hogs got loose and ate my watermelon crop, you gotta pay for it. And if they don't have the money, so he says, I'll take your livestock. Now Dorothy doesn't want the animals to go to him, so they decide as a family, they ask for a little more time, he agrees, and they decide as a family, Uncle Henry, Auntie Em, and the 3 farmhands are going to go into town and do whatever they can to make a little extra money and see what they can do. Dorothy asks how she can help. And this is the fun difference between the first one and the second one. The first one sticks with Judy Garland's portrayal, as it should. And she's a damsel in distress, very much the way it would have been framed in 1939. But in this film, she's gone to Oz, she's come back, and now she's grown to an extent. And she says, I'm 15, almost, in 8 months. So we get an idea. She's 14 years old. But she has gone through a tremendous amount of growth. She went to Oz. She had responsibilities there. She was hailed as a hero, and now she comes back and she's being treated like she's still the same person she was before she left, with it, which of course she isn't. Now the fun twist is she still has her ruby slippers. The family leaves to help, and all of a sudden we have our friends from Oz. Typical plot. Help us, Dorothy, Oz is in trouble, only you can help, and adventure ensues. So what did I like about it? Well, a lot. They spend a good amount of time in Kansas, and I really like that because I've always loved the plots where Dorothy's friends go to the real world and experience from her point of view, and they make a point of saying, wow, this is it. It's not very shiny, and which of course they do in the books. They say, why would you want to go back to a place that isn't as lovely as Oz? As I said, Dorothy has this humongous character arc where she basically struggles to be seen as a woman. She's caught in that place between child and adult that we find ourselves in our adolescence. And for those of you who are going through it, power to you. It's a tough place to be, especially if you've had a lot of adult experiences in your life, and you've been through a lot of stuff. And I love that this film goes there, because it not only goes there, but it does it in a really intelligent and well-written way. Hold on, I think I'm running out of film. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, so she's really stuck in this in this difficult place. But what I love about how they treat it is they really do treat it very gently, and the writing is surprisingly good. Like, it took me aback how well written her character is and how her friends play off of these changes, because they are impressed with her. They're like, wow, she's getting stuff done. And this film definitely focuses more on the Fab Four and their dynamic with one another. As you know, that's my Ozzy and Catnip. They really do focus on those relationships, and they do a very good job when they do it. This is the Dorothy for the modern age. The Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz before this was just, just remaking the Wizard of Oz and throwing Tom and Jerry in it. And this is taking the characters and moving them ahead in this world that they've already designed, and I love that. And total sidebar, this is just my crazy inner fangirl going crazy. For those of you who've watched my channel for a while, you know that I'm a total Dorothy Scarecrow shipper, and I know that that relationship can be interpreted in other ways, because obviously it was different in the novels. We know that the original script for the 1939 film included a subplot with a very innocent romance between Dorothy and Hunk that translated into the Ozian Siege, which is why there's still some resonating romantic notions between Dorothy and the Scarecrow. Very, very mild, very subtle. And those things exist here as well, which I really like, because the Scarecrow's my favorite. Sorry guys, I'm playing favorite. Another plus, Tuffy is barely in it. Thank you God. I did not like Tuffy. I very much appreciate the work of the voiceover artist who plays Tuffy, but I do not enjoy that character. It annoyed me. Just one more thing about Dorothy and the Scarecrow. They have this amazing moment together where they're, spoiler alert, shut it off now if you don't want to hear, they are trapped in the dungeon by the Gnome King. And Dorothy has a moment of self-doubt where she says, oh my gosh, what if my aunt and uncle were right and I am just a kid and I'm not capable? And he stops her right there and says, well, of course you are. You're Dorothy. Like, that's all he needed to say. And isn't that so true for all of us who've been watching and reading and so deeply involved with Oz? She's Dorothy. She is what every young woman should, and really truly any young person should strive to be. So getting to the Gnome King, what a great villain and what a great voiceover work. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know that voice. Plug for that documentary. I know that voice. That's a great documentary. Voice actors that you hear in this film are all really well-known Warner Brothers actors. You've heard them in things like Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, and they're this troupe of really talented, really wonderful working voiceover actors who are basically in everything. So you'll definitely recognize the voices, and the performances are fantastic and really hold this together. Held the first one completely and really just add to this one. It could have been a disaster if the voices were anything less than sincere. And as per usual with this cast of characters that performs these voices, they're all fantastic actors and are really masters of their craft and comes through. Another thing I really like is that the story is new, but it's mostly comprised of things that existed in the original script for the 1939 film and then were cut, or things from the books that didn't make it. So, for example, Hickory's machine in the beginning that you see is right out of that original script. It was cut. Spoiler alert, Hickory invents a machine that allows for the manipulation of wind to stop twisters from coming. And that is actually in the original script. It was cut, but they put it in there. And I think that's fantastic. You also got a taste of that in the 1990 Deke cartoon when we visit the Tin Man's hometown called Mechanica, because they completely omit his backstory from the book. Actually, the episode is called The Marvelous Milkmaid of Mechanica. It's on YouTube if you would like to check it out. And there is a same machine, same concept called the Whirligig. It blows storm clouds away so that all the tin people don't get rusted. They also include the Jitterbug in this, which I love because that's one of my favorite songs. I'm always so bummed that it got cut, and it looks like they went back to those original home movies from Harold Arlen and kind of modeled the setting after that, and I really loved it. Some book characters make some appearances. We see, obviously, Ruggedo the Gnome King. The Mouse Queen makes an appearance, and also the Hungry Tiger. But what I find really interesting about the Hungry Tiger is that they've made her a hungry tigress. She's a woman. So that's tons of fun. And there's lots of new songs. And they threw some original 1939 film songs in there as well, but they wrote a couple of original songs that were a lot of fun. Let's talk about what I didn't like. There's not a whole bunch. You could nitpick the animation. It's not always top notch, but most of the time it's pretty spot on. To be honest, this is one of the freshest Oz sequels that we've gotten in a long time, and it was really refreshing. It was obviously written with care. The songs are fun. The performances are lovely. It's more fun for me than the first because, like I said, it sticks with the Fab Four and their journey. And Tom and Jerry are there and are helping and are participating and are a focus, but the slapstick is taken down. It's not as focused on watching them hit each other back and forth, and Dorothy really takes control, and I love that. I absolutely love it. She's a much better and much more well-rounded character in this film, and a lot of people on Facebook have already said that. Like, it's astonishing where they took this character, and I love it. One thing, towards the end, they were split in three directions because Dorothy and the Scarecrow were doing one thing, the Tin Man and Jerry were doing another thing, and the Lion and Tom and Toto were doing another thing. So, to be honest, I wanted it to just stick with Dorothy and the Scarecrow. I understand why they had to tell us what was going on with the others, but it did get a little slowed down at the end because of that. The Lion has a song with the Hungry Tigress, which I honestly could have done without. That was the one for me that was kind of a bummer. There's a song in Kansas that's absolutely phenomenal that I loved. And they gave it the runtime that it needed to fit all of these things in. It's certainly longer than the first one. I love what they were able to do with it. The animation is good. The voice acting is spot on. The character development takes it to the next level. I cannot recommend it enough for all Oz fans. And honestly, if you've got kids, or if you are a kid, it's a good time. As an adult, I was kind of on the edge of my seat in a couple of places, and I was really genuinely enjoying it. So leave me a comment down below if you've seen it. It's available now for digital download, and it will be available for purchase on DVD on June 21st. If you have iTunes or Amazon Prime or whatever other downloading services there are, you can get it through that. If not, June 21st, the DVD will become available. So as I said, I'm finishing up editing my Chittenango footage, and then I'll be doing a haul video for the stuff that I got there, and I got a ton of awesome stuff. So enjoy it, tell me what you think, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you want to see more. Bye guys!